Episode 21, you find out so much backstory, and I love this. I feel like this entire episode could have been so much more talking about Area 62. Area 62 is one of my favorite places in Power Rangers right now because there's so much behind it. There is so much that you could tell in one episode all about Area 62. Everything about it just really makes me kind of want more. The fact that we're getting a lot of backstory on how Amelia is given to Pop Pop through Tarek and Santora and stuff like that, I completely get her name right, so I'm just going to call her Void Queen. It's a lot easier. So the fact is that they hand her over. You know, you see that Pop Pop is hesitant, but he keeps his promise. Like, he looks after Amelia like she is his own. And I like that because some people may be like, no, I'll grab the baby and then we'll give her the baby to someone who would look after her. And I feel like seeing this right now is a really nice way. And it kind of made me think, how does Amelia get to, you know, become Rafkonian? How does her powers come out now rather than much later? And I think this is a cold opening where we're getting the story before the intro, you know, the music playing and stuff like that. And I feel like it's under a lot of stress as well as emotion because obviously she's never been in a situation where this may have happened. You know, Pop Pop is almost dying. The fact is that, you know, there's a whole invasion or whole thing of the Earth blowing up, or the city at least. And this really kind of plays on her to the point where her abilities kind of come out and she's able to read Pop Pop's mind from everything kind of going on. That to me is fantastic. I really like this rather than just a generic, oh, she's got her powers now, that is it, no one cares. I generally really like this. I feel like this is really good storytelling right now, and it's something that I wholeheartedly really like all the way through. And the fact is that she tells Zato and Aeon about all of this. I think that's kind of cool as well because, you know, you beam into your base and you're like, Amelia, what the hell? All right then, this is new. And it's not just something like, hey guys, I got my powers. It's, you know, everything. Now, I do feel like the burping a little bit does kind of ruin and, you know, ruins the tone. Set the tone? It ruins the tone a little bit because it's more that she's explaining and then suddenly Pop Pop's like, oh, sorry, this is giving me gas. I generally wasn't a big fan of that particular thing. So it kind of ruined it a tiny bit for me, but the rest of the episode is absolutely fantastic. I will say this because Dino Fury is a great season so far. We know that the biggest hero in all of Power Rangers is Mr. Leafy, the plant. Now, I don't know why this guy, and I didn't mention it in my previous review, but I don't know why this one guy is more focused on the plant of Mr. Leafy at all, because it's just kind of really weird. And the fact that he just runs off and leaves the greatest hero of all time in Power Rangers, Mr. Leafy, just there because he didn't want to save it. Maybe Mr. Leafy may come along. He might do whatever. We're talking a little bit too much on this subject. I'm going to move on. But I did quite like the scene a little bit. I will say that Buzz Blast being the number one source for the entire whole city that everyone pays attention rather than anything else really does kind of make me go, maybe Buzz Blast is the most important part of this Power Ranger universe, because we find out what happens to it in episode 22. We're going to talk about that very, very soon. But the fact is that you've got all this danger, that they've got the support of everyone, that they have the ability to tell people, hey, you've got to evacuate the city. I like that. I thought that was kind of cool. It was a very nice element to kind of add to it. And I've got to admit, I would be quite scared if Void Queen and Mucus, two monsters that would just literally teleport in right next to me, like nothing's happened. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to run too. But it just felt like this is the danger moment. Everything is building up. Everything is at this one crucial moment. And it's great. We've got the fact that when the Rangers defeat the bad guys, the Sporix beasts, that when they turn into Sporix, they go to Void Queen because she's now created a cocoon around herself. It's really nice. I generally think that the Rangers should have tried to hold off the monsters as much as they can, or put them away into like a prison or something that they could find, or teleport them to somewhere else. Because when you've got that, you know that if they get turned into Sporix, they're going to go to Void Queen. And I think that after you've seen it for the first time, when two of them get defeated, you kind of think, right, we're not going to do that again, but we'll teleport the monsters far back. Even if you keep teleporting, even if they get to the city, you keep teleporting them far away. it would make a bit more sense rather than destroying them, because you're just making Void Queen a lot stronger. Now with Mucus, I thought that we'd have a different tone for where she gets zapped and then she gets sent away or gets absorbed by Void Queen. It kind of was like oh no, I don't want that to happen. But I feel like she could have said something a bit different, or it could have led into it. But for what it is, it wasn't bad. It's just, you just didn't kind of expect it to happen, because Mucus is a well-beloved villain, which again, I'm all here for. When the Rangers are back in the base and they're actually talking about the danger of everything going on, it feels a bit more surreal, more than just hey guys, watch the viewing globe and we have to stop this or we have to stop that. I feel like when you see this, it gives a bit more kind of mix to it, where they are like shitting themselves effectively. They're like going, what the hell is going on? How do we stop this? The energy that gives off will destroy areas and we don't know what's going on. How do we stop it? And they're trying to figure out problem solving, and they go, do we teleport it? Do we attack it? Do we do this? Do we do that? And that really shows that rather than just like, oh, if we just blast it, they're thinking of other things to do with it. And again, it's really kind of good. And when you see like Pop realize what needs to happen if the city does blow up, he takes Amelia away. He's like, oh no, I'm hurt. And then they start talking about stuff. I feel like that is Pop saying, hey, I trust you enough to tell you this information. You can see it, but wear that radiation suit. And he wears it, and then that's it. I feel like that is a thing, obviously, from the very beginning, I think, of season 2, part 2, where Pop's wearing his radiation suit. But seeing Amelia go in there, obviously it gets ripped, it gets damaged, she takes it off, and then goes against Cypher. And when we see Warden Garcia, apparently people were kind of talking about this, like it was kind of linked to like the first time she meets him by saying like, oh yeah, hey, you're trespassing, you shouldn't be here. Stuff like that is a very nice callback, and I do kind of like it. The writers have kept that in mind. But when when she has to fight Cypher, I literally loved it. I feel like we do need to see a bit more civilian fights, but I do like the fact that when Simon's turned around and said, hey, only when the story calls for it, that I'm all for. That I would like. So seeing Amelia take on Cypher a lot really kind of made it. And then as soon as the other Rangers turn up, this again kind of worked. I love the fact that we get a really cool morphing sequence, like a quick morph from Amelia, like the whole backflip. Perfect. Seems that she's getting quite a lot of attention, which is damn right, because it's a good storyline that they've got for her. I think the last part of this is when Amelia gets hit by the net, because she's taken a shock thing that she has that can obviously like shock people. You saw it with Void Net happen. I think rather than the line of like, you're not the only one who can use this, I think the line of now you know how it feels, that would have been so much better for that, because obviously it's I finally got you got me first, I've got my revenge and stuff like that. But then seeing like kind of the like Tarek's memories as well, and how like Tarek turned from Void King to Tarek, generally really like that. It's a really nice touch and gives the final kind of clue to how like Tarek and Void Queen arrived. Again, I can't remember her name right now, but I'm really kind of glad that they were able to give this and then say, hey, there's danger. So if you were watching this weekly, this would be the one where you're like, oh, I need to know right now, but we're kind of stuck in a binge culture right now. But yeah, I think the episode was really good. It's solid. I like the story progression. It feels like rather than kind of holding back, it's no, just eat as much of this as you can, and it works. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. What are your thoughts on this episode? And with that, I'll see you later.
チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。以下のリンクから商品を入手することができます。